This is the only guide you will need to beat the Reckoning's Easter egg and Black Ops 6 zombies. For your loadout, you have two options. You could either run the Kilo, or if you want to run an assault rifle and you don't have this unlocked, then you can run the XM4, or you can run the Maelstrom. If you have the Kilo, put all of these attachments on that I have, and if you're using a Maelstrom, same deal. Put these attachments on right here. If you are using a Maelstrom when you're in game, you can click B or whatever it is on controller to go to the gun's alt fire, and it'll make the ADS a lot better. For your tactical, run decoys. For your lethal, run C4 or Semtexes, and for your field upgrade, run Aether Shroud. And for your gobblegums, you want to run Power Keg, Shields Up, and Killjoy for the boss fight. Additionally, if you have them, you can run stuff like Hidden Power and Perkaholic to make this easier. If you don't have these though, that's fine, they're not necessary. Just instead of putting these on, you can put on stuff like Who's Keeping Score and Temporal Gift. Also, make sure you put these augments on, as putting them on will make this Easter egg a lot easier. For stamina, put on Free Fowler. For Quick Revive, run Dying Wish. For Juggernog, run Probiotic and Hardened Plates. For Speed Cola, put on Supercharged and Fast Pitcher. For PhD, put on PhD Slider and Tribologist. And finally, for the perks, on Double Tap, put on Double Standard and Double Time. And also for Aether Shroud, make sure you put on Extra Charge and Burst Dash. The first thing you want to do when you spawn in the game is unlock Pack-a-Punch, but we're going to grab a few things, so don't fast forward. I recommend staying in spawn until after you complete your first special round on round 5 or round 6. On your first special round, and this is important, make sure you do this, shoot one of the arms off of Commando Klaus, and then fully kill him, and he'll drop an arm. As far as I know, we can only get one arm per special round, so do one this round, and then on the next special round, like round 10, 11, 12, in that area, make sure you do the same thing again. After this round, take the right way out of spawn to go to the Mutant Research Lab, and in this room right here, interact with this container to grab the syringe. Now follow where I go to the android's assembly room, and in this room, you want to look at these 4 spawn locations for 2 Klaus legs. The first is under this launch pad you just came out of, on the bottom floor behind this door. The second is up here to the left of the armor behind this TV. The third is laying on this box near the elevator, and the fourth one is through this conveyor belt room on this cart here. Once you grab both, take the elevator in here up, and continue on the path that I do to get the Pack-a-Punch. Normally I don't show this part because the game has markers everywhere, but even with that, this map layout can be very confusing at first, so I'm showing you how to get here. Once you're at the director's office, interact with this snow globe and go through the portal. Once you're in here, you want to go across the room and hit this switch, and now there will be 4 groups of 3 crystals that you have to shoot. The game shows you where they are, and they're all in this room, so just follow where the game shows you until you shoot all 12 to unlock Pack-a-Punch. Now that Pack-a-Punch is unlocked, it's time to start the Easter egg. Remember that syringe from earlier? Well, you want to jump in this particle accelerator beam right here, and a bunch of objects will spawn in your way. You can move left and right to dodge these objects, but there's one object that you gotta collide with in this beam, and that is a zombie body. You might have to do this a time or two until he spawns in this beam, but once he does, run into him and then look on the ground in here for a zombie with a blue tie and interact with him to get a blood sample. Before we start this next step, I strongly suggest that you not only get to the last zombie in the round, but also, and this is more important, get your Kilo to green rarity, Pack-a-Punched once, and grab Double Tap from the Android Assembly and Juggernog from the Executive Suite if you want to play it safe. When you have all of that, return to the Mutant Research Lab and place that syringe back in this machine. This will spawn this HVT in the map, and after he gets done talking, you gotta take him out. Shoot his helmet until you break it, and then just spray into his head to take him out. While you're doing this, be on the lookout for a Geneticist zombie, because after you turn on Pack-a-Punch, he will always spawn in this room. Make sure you're paying attention, and when you kill him, pick up the key card that he drops. Once the HVT is around half health, an Elder Disciple and a few toxic zombies will come out of the tubes in here, so be careful of them. Don't let a toxic zombie sneak up on you. If you need to, you can always fast travel to another area and regroup before you go back to continue the fight. But eventually, once you take out this Mangler, pick up the Fowler mutant injection. We don't need this now, but once we get the rest of this quest going, you'll see that doing this step now makes it flow so much better. And now with that keycard you grabbed, come near PhD and interact with this fridge and grab the DNA inside. Believe it or not, we need this for the very end of the Easter egg, but again, we might as well get it out the way now. And also, let me just remind you, because you should be about to have your next special round at this point, make sure you shoot an arm off of Commando Klaus and then fully kill him and pick up the arm that he drops. If you did this once on both special rounds, then you should have both arms and therefore all 4 Klaus parts. Now we gotta get the Wonder Weapon, and let me just say, this is a crazy quest to build this, but I strongly suggest that you build it and you don't get it from the box, because this guide was designed with this quest in mind. To start it, and we're still in the Mutant Research Lab, near Deadshot, this monitor right here will have a static screen. If you stand near it for around 5 seconds, then the screen will flash a word. The only thing that matters is the letter that the word starts with, so if the monitor flashes for foreboding, then all I have to remember is F. Now around near PhD and in this area, there will be the second static monitor. Again, you want to stand near it until you see the word and take the letter that it starts with and combine your two letters and remember it. If by chance a second monitor won't turn on for you, then you'll only have one letter for this next step, which is fine, but just keep that in mind. The way you do this next step is you combine your two letters with the dead shell one coming first. You combine them and near PhD, you want to look at this periodic table and find which element on this table has the same chemical symbol as your two letters. You want to find this symbol and look at the number in its square. You'll take this number and you'll enter it in the keypad directly above you on either side of this room, and if done right, this room will open. Now this is how they want you to do it, but look at the screen right now because at this moment I am flashing every single element that you could get in alphabetical order and what that code is. Once you have your code, come up to this door and put your code in the keypad. If the code that you got is just 1 or 2 numbers, then you'll either put 1 or 2 zeros before you enter your code. But if done right, the door will open, and in this room there is a cyst inside this petri dish thing. Go to the next round if you're at the end of the current one, and you'll notice that when you damage zombies in here, a few of them will turn into vermin. You want to train these vermin around the cyst, and when one gets near it, you want to damage it, not kill it, but damage it just a little bit, and then it'll get sucked up into the cyst. You got to do this 3 times with the vermin, and after every time you do it, you have to wait 10 seconds before you can do it again. Like I said, you got to do this to feed the cyst 3 vermin, and then after that, you then got to feed the cyst 3 zombies the same way. So damage one a bit when he's by the cyst, and he'll get sucked into it. Wait around 10 seconds and do it a second and a third time, and after you do this for 3 vermin and 3 zombies in that order, wait 10 more seconds, and you'll be able to interact with the cyst to grab it. Now go back to the middle of the mutant research lab and drop down this hole right here to go to the quantum computing area. And on the outside of this room there are 3 plants. You have to stand or walk by them to drain them. This is pretty easy with 1 zombie left in the round. The first one is next to the elevator right here. The second is right next to it through this door right here. And then the final location is in the next door over in the middle of this room. Once you fully drain all 3, panels will start talking. And now before you do this next step, make sure that you have all 4 Klaus parts on your HUD, and also upgrade your kilo as much as you can, and maybe even get tier 2 armor as well. Once you're ready, go to the dark entity room, or the forsaken room as I might call it in this video, and in this room there are 4 computers you got to interact with. They're in the same locations every game, so just follow where I go, but be quick because you only have about 10 seconds once you hit a computer to hit another one and the timer will reset. Once you hit all 4, an Uberklaus will spawn. We'll kill him in a bit, but take the elevator back down to Android assembly, and near the bottom launcher below the tier 2 armor wall by, place all 4 parts on Klaus right here, and then camp in front of this launcher until the Uberklaus gets to you. Lure him near the launcher, and once he is, run back to Klaus, and you should have enough distance between you and the Uberklaus for him to shoot that energy attack to turn on Klaus. If Klaus's eyes are red, then it works, so now go back up the elevator, and in the Forsaken room, you want to take out both of the Uberklaus's shoulder pads to break them, and then instead of killing him, you want to lure him on top of this pressure plate right in front of the Forsaken. Doing so will allow the Forsaken to take over the Uberklaus, and now it's time for a pretty fun mini boss fight. This boss fight works just like killing a normal Uberklaus does, so if you've done that, you're just doing the same thing again, but in case you're not aware, you want to shoot the Forsaken shoulder crystals until you break them both, and then you want to shoot his helmet until you take out the mech. And then after this, the Klaus core will fly around, and you got to take him out as well. Once you take out the Klaus core, where you kill him will be an orb. Interact with it to place a cyst with it, and around 5 seconds later, it will finally give you the Gorgofex. And just so you know, you can't pack a punch this thing unless you get one of the variants for it, which you don't even need for this Easter egg. And additionally, they're not too helpful in the boss fight either, so I'm not going to go over them in this guide. But if you want to build it, you can look up a guide on how to build the Gorgofex C or Gorgofex N and meet me back here when you're done. Now that we have the wonder weapon, return to where you shot Klaus a bit ago in the Android assembly room and flip the round. Around like 20 seconds after the round changes, he should hop off the computer, and now you want to run behind him until he goes to the elevator. Go up it and then follow him down here and start the S.A.M trial. I believe this challenge is just get kills in this area every time. At least that's all I've gotten, but if I'm wrong about this, then correct me in the comments. Once you complete it, grab your rewards in here, and now up the stairs in this room, Klaus will be flying in front of this door. With the Fowler mutant injection from earlier, you want to use that mutant injection and interact with this eye scanner. You only have like 10 seconds in this mutant injection, so make sure you activate it near this door. If you mess this up though, you can go back to where you placed the syringe at the very beginning and buy another one for 1500 salvage. Once this door opens, go in this teleporter, and now Klaus will be hacking this computer. This is for the final step of the Easter egg, but we're not quite there yet. For now, we gotta get another code to turn the facilities back on. So go to the executive suite, and in this area, there are 3 folders you gotta interact with to get a message to pop up on the screen. The only thing that matters in this entire message is the number at the very top of it. It'll be 1 through 6. You wanna write down all 3 numbers you find in this room. Which, speaking of, I believe there were only 6 spawn locations in this area, and right now I'm showing you all of them. There were 2 in the start right there, there were 2 in the same room as Unlcok PAP in here, and then there's one in the director's office right here, and the final location is on this desk right outside it. Once you wrote down your 3 numbers, return to Klaus, and near him will be the 4th folder with your 4th and final number. From my testing, it seems like one spawns here every single game, but if I'm wrong about that, let me know down below in the comments. Once you have your 4 numbers, in Klaus's room is a computer you can put the code in. Now look at the screen and reorder your 4 numbers in order from top to bottom. This new order is the code you enter in the computer. So for example, in my game, I got the numbers 2, 3, 5, and 6. So I look at the screen and I order them from top to bottom, so I know my code for the next step is 6352. If you put the wrong code in, then you'll have to enter it again on the next round, but once you do enter the right code, the computer will say it's accepted, and now go to Pack-a-Punch. If you come to this part of the room and this board is lit up red, then the code works, so interact with this button, and now in this room will be 5 blue vermin that you need to shoot with the Gorgofex. Typically 3 or sometimes 4 will spawn above you, either in the corners or on this thing in the middle, and then it seems like most of the time 1 or 2 of them will be running around with the rest of the horde. Once you kill all 5, you want to go back in this room and just kill zombies for a minute until these computers go on cooldown. Once they do, you can interact with the orb with your Gorgofex out to get the orb on it. With this, you want to quickly return to the room Klaus is in via the teleporter in the Forsaken room. You can swap your weapons around while you're doing this and the effect will stay on your Gorgofex, but if you take too long, like a minute or so, then the effect will disappear on your Gorgofex and you'll have to do this step again on the next round. But once you're back in Klaus's room, get a charged wonder weapon shot ready and shoot this portal in the back of the room with it. If done right, Peck will start talking, and now you can interact with the teleporter to teleport to the top of Tower 1. Just a heads up though, rarely when you go through this, there's a glitch that can happen where you hit a death barrier. If you have Dying Wish on Quick Revive, then you'll be okay. And like I said, this is a pretty rare glitch, so I wouldn't be too worried about it, but I would get Dying Wish before you use this, just in case. When this eventually does get patched though, I will leave a pinned comment down below, so be sure to check if you're watching this in the future. At this point, get to the last zombie and go to the quantum computing room going the left elevator out of spawn. In the top of this room will be a zombie with a plant next to him. You want to shoot a charged wonder weapon shot at this zombie to get his head to drop down. Pick it up and then buy melee macchiato in here, and also in here punch this machine to reveal a brain. We have to pick this brain up and take it to Klaus. Now for this step, you can't switch weapons while you're doing this, so make sure that you're at the end of the round before you start this, and also if you take too long, then you'll have to redo this. But once you're in Klaus's room, walk up next to him and place it in this machine. Now for the final step before the boss fight, you want to go to the android's assembly area near where you assembled Klaus, and in the next room where the bottom launcher is, you want to melee this mop bucket where I do. If you don't have melee macchiato, then you won't be able to move this mop bucket, so if you can't, go buy the perk and try it again. But once the mop bucket's under the sprinkler around this area, then come look outside this zombie spawn and throw an explosive at this smoke detector. Doing so will set off the sprinklers to fill up the mop bucket. Interact with it to place the fungal head, and now it's a soul box. So now you want to kill around 30 purple-eyed zombies, and once his eyes are purple, interact with it again to pick up the cleansed head. Now you can grab this before you finish charging it if you want, but if you do, then not only will you still have to fully charge it, but you'll also have this shadow demon figure chasing you as well. So I recommend just leaving it in the mop bucket until you're ready. But now that you have the cleansed head, make your way back to Klaus. And also I should mention, be careful dropping his head, because if you do, then the head will roll all around the floor that you left him on, and finding him again might be a little tricky. So if I were you, I'd just hold on to him until you get to the portal. Once you're here, walk up to the teleporter in here and place the head on the left side of the teleporter, and now around the map the Janus security boxes will be open and we can grab the canisters. At this point, around the map are purple objects that you need to throw these canisters at to capture them and pick them back up. These objects will bounce around the floor they're on, and on this step you can't get too close to them or else they'll move. Get close enough though to where you can throw a canister at it to capture it and you can pick it back up. You don't have to follow my order, you can do this in whatever order you want, but it will be easier if you do. So you grab the first canister near Klaus, and the first 2 objects you gotta grab are in the mutant research lab. The 2 in here like to hang out near PhD, near the periodic table, and near Deadshot. Throw the canister at one of them to capture him and pick back up the canister, and then go near PhD and grab the second canister from here. Now locate the second purple object in this area, and once you grab both, take the elevator down to spawn, and in the security room next to spawn will be the third canister. The third object will either be right here, on this couch, or on this metal detector. Capture it, then use a teleporter near Quick Revive, and the fourth canister will be right in front of you. Grab it, and then either in this room or the Unlcok PAP room will be the fourth and final object. Throw the canister at it to capture it, and once you have all 4, return to Klaus and place the canisters in this machine. Doing so will start a mini lockdown where, around every 10 or so seconds, a red light will turn on. You gotta interact with this red light to turn it green, and then around 10 seconds later, another one will turn on. You gotta do this 3 times on solo, and I believe 4 times on co-op. And right here are all 5 button locations, but once you hit enough, you will get a white flash, and now it is time for the boss fight. And at this point, do not interact with the teleporter in here until you're ready for the boss fight. So to get ready for the boss fight, make sure you have all of the perks besides Death Perception, get your Kilo or Maelstrom Tier 3 Pack-a-Punched, max rarity with Light Mend, get Tier 3 armor, grab decoy grenades, or if you have the extra salvage, get Casimir portals instead, get a self-revive, a death machine, and also I recommend you get around 10 to 15,000 points so you can buy more ammo in the boss fight. And for your Gobblegums, get Killjoy, Shields Up, and Power Keg for the boss fight. And most importantly, if you're on solo, when you're absolutely ready for this boss fight, before you go in, make sure that you're not on a special round, and you also have the option to save and quit. This way, in case you mess up in the boss fight and go down, you can save and quit to get another chance. Just know though, if you do this, when you load back in the game, make sure you advance to the next round and also get another self-revive as well. But once you're ready for the boss fight, interact with the portal to start the boss fight. The game will teleport you to the bottom of Tower 3, and now you gotta interact with this tube, and the game will give you an option for who you want to help, either Richtofen or S.A.M. Spoilers right here, but no matter which option you pick, you'll help one and fight the other. Now I highly recommend that you select helping Richtofen to take out S.A.M, because doing it the other way around is legitimately one of the hardest boss fights in modern zombies, and this one is quite a bit easier. So if you're just looking for the completion, get the calling card, all that fun stuff, then make sure you select helping Richtofen and you'll fight S.A.M. That said though, if you're interested on a guide to beat the Richtofen fight, I'm making a video on it right now, so if it's out by the time you're watching this, I'll have it linked in a card right now and on the end screen as well. But now that you made your choice, the lift will go up a little bit and then stop at this first area. You want to get off the lift here, and in this area, there are 3 soul boxes you have to charge with 10 zombies each. But also in this area is the final time you'll see the arsenal machine, so if you need any upgrades on your gun, make them now before you get back on the lift. But once you do, it'll go up a little bit and it'll stop again. This time you gotta look around this area, and on these pipes you gotta find and shoot 6 Ethereum crystals. The locations are random, but they only spawn on these pipes on this floor. But also in this area, up the stairs right here, will be the final time you can access the Wonder Fizz. So for some reason you didn't get all your perks, now is the final chance that you have to grab them. But once you shoot all 6 crystals, get back on the lift, and once the lift reaches the very top, it will start the S.A.M boss fight. As soon as S.A.M spawns, run out the middle of this boss fight arena because she will charge to the middle doing an attack. To beat this boss fight, you'll need to shoot S.A.M at certain points to deal damage to her. You can't deal damage all the time, it's only at certain parts, but first, I'm gonna go over her attacks. In the first 2 phases, she can do 3 different attacks. The first one you just saw at the very beginning of the fight, it's where she'll shoot purple beams at you, and 90% of the time when she does this attack, she'll stop for a second and stare at you and also make this sound. So the best way to avoid this attack is when you see her getting ready to shoot, is to simply slide out the way when you hear the sound. The second attack she can do is when she'll go in the center and she'll spin around and shoot energy balls or something like that everywhere. Over the course of this boss fight, she'll travel around this boss fight arena more and more when she does a spin attack, and she'll shoot out more energy mines, but for right now, in phase 1, she'll just stay in the center. At any point in this boss fight, when she's doing this spinning attack, you can damage her, so if you're in a safe spot and she's doing a spin attack, get some damage on her. And this attack is why I said to run double standard, because double standard makes it to where every single non-critical hit you get will deal double damage. And more often than not, when you're damaging the boss, it'll be on this attack. And her last attack she can do is where she'll stop and shoot a red laser across the arena. When she's doing this attack, make sure you do not go under her, because if you go under her when she's doing this attack, or in the next part after this attack, then you will go down really fast. So do not go directly under her when she's doing this attack. Her laser attack will last for about 10 seconds, and immediately after she's done shooting it, she'll open up 4 red weak points around her eye that you have to shoot and break. And now that we discussed her attacks, let's go over when you can damage her. Now you can only damage S.A.M either when she's doing her spin attack or when her weak points are visible after her red laser attack. When you see her starting the laser attack, I recommend counting to 7 and then popping your Ether Shroud towards her, and that should time it up just right to where her weak points will open up as soon as you put away the wand. And then eventually, once you break all 4 of these red spots, her eye will glow red and you can now shoot it to damage her. You can shoot the red eye at any time in this boss fight, but after enough damage it'll stop glowing and you won't be able to damage it anymore. When this happens, you gotta go back to shooting her 4 red spots to break them again. But outside of these 2 instances and one more that I'll say say later, she is completely immune to any damage in this boss fight, so don't even try to shoot her unless you have a chance to in one of these two scenarios. But mainly you just want to stay on the run and don't get trapped in the horde. And if you need armor, kill the zombies and they should drop you some plates pretty fast. And also, when you run out of ammo, there are 3 ammo boxes in here, and the first one is right here, the second one is over here, and the third one is in the dead center of the boss fight. Eventually though, you'll get 1/3 of her health down and she'll go in the portal. When she's going in and out of portals in this boss fight, you can also damage her a little bit here as well. So if you see her going in a portal and you have a safe chance to, shoot her a little bit to deal a little bit extra damage. Once she goes through the portal and her health bar disappears, phase 1 is now done, and at this point, a SAM trial will spawn, believe it or not. You want to try to get gold rarity on this trial, because if you don't, and you get a purple, blue, or even worse, then you'll get one of the negative effects from grief, like ammo drain or weapon nerf. But if you do get max rarity on it, then you'll get a free perk. If by chance you got the negative effect though, then just run around the boss fight arena until it goes away. Don't even try to engage this boss until it goes away. Also, when the SAM trial starts, a max ammo will spawn around the middle, and this one will go away, so make sure you grab it before it disappears. But after you beat the trial, SAM will come back out of a portal. It is time for phase 2. Phase 2 is pretty much the same as phase 1, but like I said earlier, on the spin attack she does, she can now move around this arena while she's doing this and shoot the energy mines everywhere. So when she's doing this attack, try and shoot her a bit at the beginning, then once she starts moving around, just get on the run so you don't get trapped, and run to the other side of the boss fight arena, climb on a vent, and from here you should be able to damage her a little bit. Also in this phase, she gains the ability to go in and out of portals without the phase being over, but aside from a few zombies spawning, I don't think this actually does anything, so if you want to, you can ignore her when she's doing this. But besides this, you want to attack her in phase 2 the exact same way you attacked her in phase 1. And once you get her health bar to around 1/3 of health left, she will go into a portal and her health bar will disappear. We are now done with phase 2, and yet another SAM trial will spawn, and we have to do the same thing with it. Get a gold rarity, and after it's over, SAM will come back, and now it's time for phase 3. Phase 3 is just like the other 2 phases, but there are some key things you have to keep in mind. For starters, her spin attack is now by far her most deadly attack, because in phase 3, she will spin all around this arena like a freaking Beyblade, and she'll shoot these energy mines literally everywhere. When she's doing this attack in phase 3, I strongly recommend that you shoot her until she starts moving, and then you either throw a decoy or just use an ether shroud, and just make sure you're dodging her mines on the ground. This attack in phase 3 is most likely how you'll go down in this fight, so if you can get this under control, then you'll most likely be fine. Also in phase 3, she has a new attack where she will shoot blue beams at you, and if this attack connects with you, then she will launch you way up in the air. If this hits you, you want to hurry back down to the roof as quickly as possible, because when you're in the air, SAM will actually try to snipe you out of the sky, and if she hits you, then it'll be a 1-hit down. If you put free Fowler and stamina up like I said to, then when you get launched in the air, you can cut your parachute and dive back down to the roof as quickly as possible, and you should be okay. The final thing that's different in phase 3 is when she goes into portals, there are now 6 different portals she can come back out of. But again, besides zombie spawning, I don't think there's anything to worry about with this. Also, if you get the chance to, pull out the death machine and pop ether shroud and spray into her. But just take your time, don't get trapped by the zombies, and don't go down to all of her energy mines. And once you take all her health down, you will get the cutscene, and congratulations, you have successfully beaten Reckoning's Easter egg, and if you watch my other guides, you have beaten every single Easter egg in Black Ops 6 Zombies. Now, you don't have to click off the video because I'm not going to spoil the cutscene for y'all, but I will say that there is a slightly different ending if you do the Richtofen fight instead. But besides that, if this guide helped you, please do me a huge favor and drop a like on this video. It costs you nothing and it helps this guide get out to more people. Shout out to all my members. Thank you all so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.